Hello everyone. Welcome to Magical Stocks channel, where we make trading stress-free. PSE index went down from 7,418.79 last February 18, 2022, to 7,212.23 this February 24, 2022. This performance is equivalent to a minus 2.78% decrease in the index for the week. Our magical stocks also went down from 890.37k pesos to 869.94k pesos, or a minus 2.29% decrease in our investment. Overall, our magical stocks profit went down from 189.55k pesos to 169.13k pesos. We will update the 2 batches of magical stocks together with the 5 experimental magical stocks for this week's video. Before we proceed with our update, and if you are interested in investing using our magical stocks or monitoring our system's effectiveness, please like this channel, subscribe and hit the notification button to keep you updated weekly. We concluded the November 2020 experimental magical stocks with a 3.34% gain and a slight gap advantage with the market of 0.11%. We concluded the December 2020 experimental magical stocks with a 7.78% gain and a gap advantage with the market of 7.44%. We concluded the February 2021 experimental magical stocks with a 12.01% gain and a gap advantage with the market of 4.89%. Let's now discuss the March experimental magical stocks performance from February 18, 2022, to February 24, 2022. Here is our worksheet for our March experimental stocks. Our top performer is DMC gaining 65%, while the least performer is FGen losing minus 7.97%. We have 2 sell signal in our 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the experiments trend, which we compare against the PSE index starting March 19, 2021. The PSE index went down from 15.27% to 12.06%. losing minus 3.21%. The experimental magical stocks also went down from 24.76% to 23.49%, losing minus 1.27%. The experiment is above the benchmark line, while the index is also above the benchmark line. Our experiment is above the index with a gap of 11.43% this February 24, 2022, coming from 9.49% last February 18, 2022. Let's now discuss the May experimental magical stocks performance from February 18, 2022, to February 24, 2022. Here is our worksheet for our May experimental stocks. Our top performer is AEV gaining 72.52%, while the least performer is MPI but gaining 1.6%. We have 2 sell signal in our 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the experiments trend, which we compare against the PSE index starting May 21, 2021. The PSE index went down from 19.67% to 16.34%, losing minus 3.33%. The experimental magical stocks also went down from 32.18% to 30.19%, losing minus 1.99%. The experiment is above the benchmark line, while the index is also above the benchmark line. Our experiment is above the index with a gap of 13.85% this February 24, 2022, coming from 12.51% last February 18, 2022. Let's now discuss the June experimental magical stocks performance from February 18, 2022, to February 24, 2022. Here is our worksheet for our June experimental stocks. Our top performer is AP gaining 43.63%, while the least performer is MPI losing minus 5.24%. We have 3 sell signal in our 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the experiments trend, which we compare against the PSE index starting June 18, 2021. The PSE index went down from 8.28% to 5.27%, losing minus 3.01%. The experimental magical stocks also went down from 28.75% to 25.8%, losing minus 2.95%. The experiment is above the benchmark line, while the index is also above the benchmark line. Our experiment is above the index with a gap of 20.53% this February 24, 2022, coming from 20.47% last February 18, 2022. Let's now discuss the August experimental magical stocks performance from February 18, 2022, to February 24, 2022. Here is our worksheet for our August experimental stocks. Our top performer is MER gaining 26.92%, while the least performer is LTG losing -0.32%. We still don't have any sell signal for each of the 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the experiments trend, which we compare against the PSE index starting August 20, 2021. The PSE index went down from 11.84% to 8.73%, losing -3.11%. The experimental magical stocks also went down from 16.98% to 13.46%, losing -3.53%. The experiment is above the benchmark line, while the index is also above the benchmark line. Our experiment is above the index with a gap of 4.73% this February 24, 2022, coming from 5.14% last February 18, 2022. Let's now discuss the September experimental magical stocks performance from February 18, 2022, to February 24, 2022. Here is our worksheet for our September experimental stocks. Our top performer is MEG gaining 10.96%, while the least performer is FGen losing -14.35%. We still don't have any sell signal for each of the 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the experiments trend, which we compare against the PSE index starting September 17, 2021. The PSE index went down from 7.32% to 4.33%, losing -2.99%. The experimental magical stocks also went down from 2.95% to 1.2%, losing -1.75%. The experiment is above the benchmark line, while the index is also above the benchmark line. Our experiment is below the index with a gap of -3.13% this February 24, 2022, coming from -4.37% last February 18, 2022. Here is the worksheet for our 2 batches of magical stocks. Our top performer is FGen gaining 2.84%, while the least performer is VLL losing -7.46%. We still don't have any sell signal for our magical stocks. We already sold our first batch and we were successful by earning 32.78%, which is above our target of 30%. We also already sold our second batch and we were successful by earning 33.46%, which is above our target of 30%. Our third batch is below the market with a gap of -3.82% this February 24, 2022, coming from -5.15% last February 18, 2022. Our fourth batch is above the market with a gap of 13.91% this February 24, 2022, coming from 12.16% last February 18, 2022. To summarize our investment, the first batch was sold and earned 49,630.94 pesos. The second batch was sold and earned 63,435.65 pesos. The third batch is gaining by 8.6%, coming from 10.49%. The fourth batch is gaining by 18.23%, coming from 19.46%. Overall, with an investment of 700.82k pesos, our investment's current value is 869.94k pesos, equivalent to 24.13% coming from 27.05%. We have profited in our first batch, also profited in our second batch, a gaining third batch and a gaining fourth batch. That will be all for the Magical Stocks update this week. Thank you for watching. Next week, we will continue updating the other 2 batches of magical stocks and the other 5 experimental stocks. Quote, "Look at market fluctuations as your friend rather than your enemy." Unquote. Warren Buffett. See you in the following video, have a great day ahead.